Good afternoon. I'm Marquita Leonard, and I'll be giving you a visualization speech on CPR. Today, to assist me, is my wonderful helper named Jerry. Jerry is one of the training aids that we utilize to train young technicians on how to perform certain tasks on animals. We never want to perform these tasks on live animals because we don't want to cause harm or distress on the pet. Jerry is about a $30,000 tool. He helps us assist with paw wrapping, bleeding, controlling shock, and even help us perform CPR. I've been in the Army now for about 18 years as a 68 Tango. I absolutely love the Army. I love taking care of our fur babies. I have performed CPR on approximately 18 animals with a surviving rate of about 15 pets, and this was in a hospital setting. I've only ever performed CPR on one dog ever, not in a hospital setting, and I was very fortunate enough to have my own personal dog survive. So, the Red Cross conducted a study that around 20% of humans can survive CPR without being in a hospital setting. Now, our fur babies' success rate is only about 6%, and that's in accordance with the American Veterinary Medicine Association, AVMA. So, I'm gonna go over the basic steps of conducting CPR for your pet. The first thing you need to do is determine if CPR is needed. CPR is needed if the pet is no longer breathing or there is no established heart rate. One of the ways to check to see if your pet is breathing is to view the rise and fall of the chest. If this area is not rising or is not falling, you do not have to determine the heart rate, immediately start CPR. Let's say you see the rise and fall of the chest. Now you can check to see if there's a heartbeat. One of the ways to check to see a heartbeat is you take your first two fingers, go directly up underneath the dog's armpit and place your hand there. Never utilize your ring finger. In case you did not know, your ring finger contains a pulse, and we do not want to pick up that pulse as thinking it is the pet's pulse. So now that you determine the need for CPR, you always want to lay the dog on the right side. You want to position yourself to where you're right directly behind their backs. You want to take their tongue, pull it forward, close their mouth, and ensure that their neck and head is straight and aligned. Then you want to start your chest compressions. Take your left hand, palm down, place it right here at the start of the rib cage. Take your right hand, palm down, place it directly over your left hand, elbow straight, and begin chest compressions. The ideal chest compressions is to be between 100 to 120, but 30 at the bare minimum. Tufts University recommends to have at least 2 people to perform CPR. CPR is a very strenuous activity. Not to say that one determined person cannot do it, but if we want to have success for our fur babies, it's highly recommended to have 2 personnel. So now you begin your chest compressions, elbow straight, 1 minute. Another way to make sure that you are staying on top of your chest compressions is you can actually do it to the song of Staying Alive. That da 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 da, staying alive, staying alive. So that will also help you stay on track. At any given time you go to do a chest compression and the chest do not come back up to its normal area, immediately stop doing chest compressions. So once you do your 1 minute chest compressions, in accordance with Canine Journal, you now want to provide 2 rescue breaths per 1 minute of chest compressions. And how would you do that is you want to completely close the mouth. You never want to do mouth to mouth. The best way to give the dogs the rescue breaths is to breathe directly into the snout. My personal experience, one of the things that's helped is if you kind of do like an enclosure by holding the mouth shut and holding the snout, but making like a little circle around the snout, around the nostrils, and that's where you provide 2 rescue breaths in. Once you perform your rescue breaths, you go back to chest compressions and you keep doing this until your animal is breathing or have a heartbeat. This can take quite a few minutes. So that's why it's very important is to have multiple people there to help you assist. In conclusion with CPR is a life-saving step. We never want anything to happen to our fur babies. It's highly recommended to people. Just remember, for every 1 minute of compressions, at the bare minimum 30 compressions per minute, but if you can get to 120, please do, with 2 rescue breaths, and you keep going back and forth. There's no set time limit on CPR. I cannot tell you that by performing 4 minutes of chest compressions, 8 rescue breaths, that your dog will automatically be brought back to, will come back to breathing or with the proper heart rate. But I do think that this is something that's very important, and that's something that we all should know. We're all very familiar with CPR on humans, on how to do it on young adults all the way down to babies, but very often we never talk about CPR. So I would like to give a special thanks to Jerry. Jerry assists us with more ways than one, training, becoming proficient with our tasks with the dogs, and he also assists me today with my visual aid speech. Way to go, Jerry.